act interested towards their conversation. Be interested, yes. Be interested in their conversation. Like, they might really not call you in, but next time they might be discussing something and they will come back to you. Mrs., do you have anything to say about this? Teenagers act out due to many reasons. I'll just break them bit by bit. Personal or academic frustration. Some don't like that school environment. They really don't want to learn. Maybe parents just for them go to school and all that. So academic frustration could lead to that. The truth is, teachers have limits to which like they could assist as well. Not everything should be the responsibility of a teacher. I've seen a scenario whereby this particular student at home, I think a primary school student, she couldn't brush her teeth, and the parents is bringing her to school. Teacher, my child is refusing to brush her teeth. Flawed. Like, how is that related? Do you understand? These are basic things they should be able to teach them at home.
I have a mantra that says, behind the potential of success of every teenager is a caring adult. So how can teachers position themselves to earn that trust?
Okay, any trust for a student who is
Sometime in the year, we celebrate teachers, and we just take out that time to appreciate the tremendous work and commitment that teachers give to raise the next generation, to teach the next generation. And today on P&T Show, we are going to be having a candid conversation with someone that has been teaching for as many years as you can count. Someone that's been in the field of nurturing young one. I'm talking of no other than meekness. So you're going to hear how teachers can help handle classroom better. So if you're a teacher who is thinking, these teenagers are driving me nuts, they don't listen, they don't pay attention, they are very stubborn, this is the podcast you want to watch. And on today's P&T Show, we have someone, very smart, delectable, and amazing teacher in the building. I'm going to do her the honor of introducing herself. So let's meet you.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Coach Precious. I'm really, really so grateful for this opportunity. Yeah, I find it an opportunity to be here. All right, my name is Meekness Time. Yeah. I've been in the teaching field for some time, just for some years now. Yes, because normally I'm also a teen coach because I love interacting with students, interacting with children. So it has given me that itch to really understand their mind, understand their feeling, to some extent.
It's good to meet you, and it's good to know that you are a teacher. So any teacher should listen to you. So how long have you been teaching?
For over 5 years now. Yes, actively.
Now, what's that common reasons teenagers act out or become difficult in the classroom? What's that the common reason? Because you've been in the teaching industry, and I'm sure you've seen the good, the bad, the ugly.
Teenagers act out due to many reasons. I'll just break them bit by bit. Okay, firstly, it could be to personal issues, like some of them are passing through some things, at that teenage stage, they are yet to understand themselves. They are just growing up into adult and all that. So they are yet to understand themselves. So it could be to personal or academic frustration. Some don't like that school environment. They really don't want to learn. Maybe parents just for them go to school and all that. So academic frustration could lead to that. Sometimes trauma as well. They could be passing through some challenges which a teacher may not be aware of. Yeah. And they find it very difficult to settle down in the classroom. Sometimes it could be as a result of peer pressure or peer influence, I'll say. Peer influence, this is a situation whereby the good student mix up with the bad student. Exactly. Yes, everybody mix up. They are being influenced. Exactly. You mixed up with student in the school, you mix up with the student outside the community as well. So this could actually influence their actions. They come to school, they want to do that particular thing they see their friends doing. You can see some scenario whereby a new student moving to the school, all of a sudden, at that particular time, the student is actually calm, is good, but all of a sudden, after some months, you've changed. Exactly. So after some months, the student has changed. Like, a teacher might walk in and say, you used to be quiet before, but it's looking like you've been influenced by your friends as well. So things like that could also add to it. I also want to point to family as well. Family background. The normally saying will say that charity begins at home. Yeah, a child who is not properly nurtured, a child who is not taught morals from home, we definitely come to school and display that actions. If you see children who are properly trained, when they come to school, you will see the result, you see the evidence of it. Yeah. But a child that is from maybe a dysfunctional home, a home where the parents don't really have that time to give them some solid training to teach them morals, they come to school and they exhibit such action. So you might hear a teacher say to a student, it's like you're not well trained. Because the truth is, teachers have limit to which they could assist as well. Not everything should be on the decks of the teacher. Not everything should be the responsibility of a teacher. I've seen a scenario whereby this particular student at home, I think a primary school student, she couldn't brush her teeth, and the parents is bringing her to school. Teacher, my child is refusing to brush her teeth. Floor. They're like, how is that related? Do you understand? These are basic things they should be able to teach them at home. These are basic things they should be able to.
I like that. And, we live in a world today where a lot of parents are delegating their parenting roles. Yes. And they're delegating it to teachers, to pastors, to just any other person that is not that is not them, to mentors, right? So as much as it's okay to have partners in your parenting journey, but there are things that you must do. And I think this last point you mentioned is one of those key things that a parent have to do. You have to be the one to drill in those systems, those values into your teenager. So we're speaking about this when teachers are supposed to help, right? And you're one. And so how can teachers help this disruptive behavior that students display sometimes without getting in the way of having a smooth relationship with these students? So how can they help without now becoming that teacher that allow for everything?
Yeah, okay. In that particular situation, the aim of everything, establishing a relationship with the student, it's for their own benefit, right? To help them, to nurture them become better students in the society. So for a disruptive child, because there are a lot of things that could lead to that disruptive action, as we have mentioned. So for a particular student like that, you walk into the class, you see your student acting in a kind of way you're teaching, and they are distracting the classroom, not allowing you to do your work as the teacher in the class. So what you have to do is, there are some cases you have to have a private talk with the student. Yeah, you need to call them, have a one-on-one discussion with them, because you're doing that actually to set boundaries. You're doing that to make them understand their limits. That's why you have to do that. So you have a private discussion with them, because by so doing, they feel more secure. They feel, okay, you want something better for them. Yeah. Another thing is, in a situation... So that's as against embarrassing them. Yes, in the classroom, because... Exactly, because sometimes you might, in the aid of trying to, will I say, caution them, you might be affecting their self-esteem as well. You understand? Maybe you're cautioning them in a harsh way in the classroom. I've heard students said, the teacher does not respect us. We too, we can't respect her. Like, you're like, where is this coming from? That is to show that they also need their own self-respect as well. Yes, every person wants to be respected in one way or the other. So another way I would say is, you can, in such situation as well, maybe you're trying to caution them in the classroom. You are supposed to be calm, maintain your composure. How do I mean? Because there are ways you could act and you could escalate the issues. Yeah, there are some issues you just need to be calm and caution them in the right way. And then there are some you need to take immediate action. Because if you don't take immediate action, they might ride on that. They might look down on that. Maybe a student in the classroom insulted you or so. You need to take an immediate action. Caution that student. Because if you don't do that, every other person in the class might feel is actually right. Yes. And then some other persons might also be a victim, also want to portray such kind of attitude. Then for a case of a more higher disruptive action that you can't handle, because as a teacher, there's a limit to which you can go when you need to carry out some disciplinary functions. Yes, measures. There are things you can do. And like there are some schools, they'll say don't flog the students and all that. So there are things you can do. So you have to report to higher authorities, maybe the principal, maybe the administrative, maybe the counselor or so. And then I think at that point, you can also relate some issues to other teachers as well, because every teacher understands each pupil's behavior. Yeah. A child can be behaving in a particular way. Every student knows, every teacher knows that this student, this is actually his or her behavior. And maybe the process at which you use in handling that student might be different from mine. But when I'm telling you this student is acting in this particular way, you can also share your idea with me too, so I can also apply that. So.
Okay, so getting guide from other teachers might also help. So what's the place of emotional intelligence in the teaching industry? Is it important? we talk about emotional intelligence a lot. We say parents need it, in relationships, you need it. Is it also important in the classroom? And if yes, you're already smiling. If it's important, how do we go about that?
I think it's very, very important. Yes, just as you have mentioned, everyone needs that emotional intelligence, and it's actually very, very important. Yes, because when we talk about emotional intelligence, you're talking about how to control your emotions. In quotes, yes, every person you have to be aware of your emotion and also being aware of other person's emotion. That is emotional intelligence. So, in the case of students here, as a teacher, you should be aware of your emotion and also the emotions of your students. Because if a teacher that lacks emotional intelligence might not really know how to handle situations per time. Emotional intelligence will help you understand how to handle each particular student's situations. Yeah, each actions. It will guide you on the right path, on the right thing to do. Maybe you walk into the classroom, you're teaching, a student is sleeping. It could trigger something in you, anger also. So imagine a teacher, that particular student is sleeping, you're harsh to that student, you're punishing the student and all that. That does not solve it. Who knows if that student is passing through something at home? Who knows if that student did not even sleep all throughout the night due to one thing or the other? So it's wisdom for you to approach that student to say, what is happening? Why are you sleeping in my class? And all that. That is emotional intelligence. Yeah, so emotional intelligence will help you know how to handle each situation at each time. And for you to be able to handle such situation is depend on the level of emotional intelligence you have as well. If not, you can't be able to do that. You will treat every actions as the same. Yes, without getting an effective result at the end of the day. So I think emotional intelligence is very important.
But I think that every teacher should have a handbook, should read a book on emotional intelligence.
Really so broad, like
Yes.
very important.
And you're dealing with teenagers, and teenagers are unique beings. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Sometimes they can push you to the wall until you touch
Exactly.
it.
There are days you want to even shout out of yourself, like you're like
Somebody can just do
it's
something
crazy.
and unknown to you. That action they are taking is a pile up of what they came to school with. Exactly. Probably they saw their parents fighting before they left the house, so they are already coming in different person.
And even among the males, there's this action also. Like, I don't know, it's something among guys. They love arguing a lot and all that. They come to the class, you're teaching, they are displaying such kind of attitudes. Argumentative essay, I would just call it that way. Like white lecture or the class is actually, so those things could actually piss you off. You want to take some actions, you might end up using some harsh word on them, insulting them. That is you now losing out of it. You understand? Because as a teacher, actually, you're a role model to this student. So imagine you're in the class, you're insulting that particular student and all that, and he feels you failed it. That's the truth. You fought in that particular thing.
I actually like what you said about the words that we use as teachers. And I wanted to buttress a little more on that because there are a lot of teenagers today, or even adults today, who have a lot of limiting beliefs, courtesy of what their teacher told them 10 years ago, 7 years ago in the classroom. Probably when they are displaying some of those childishness, a teacher could have said something, or maybe when they are getting involved in one action or the other. So how can teachers actually mind their words, knowing that, like you said, you're not just a role model, you are also a creative being in the lives of these people. You are forming their perspective, their definition of who they are, and all of that.
Okay, in that situation, because as a teacher, when you use such kind of words on the student, it affects them, just as we said, it affects their self-esteem as well. It's this thing, words they say can be hurtful at times. You can forget every other thing, but there are some kind of words that can be used and you will never forget that word.
True.
Imagine a teacher calling you a dumb, you don't know anything, and all that. You begin to even act like one. You begin to feel like, so he has said, he or she has said, I'm this. So
I can't help it.
I can't help it. So if another teacher should also use such kind of word, you begin to feel like, oh, really, this is actually how I am. Like, really, I don't really know anything. I'm dumb and all that. So I think our words have a way of affecting the student's self-esteem, which every teacher must be careful of such kind of action. Yeah, very important.
Yeah, in fact, I would suggest that teachers have an archive of affirming words, positive words, and then Even if you probably mistakenly use a negative word on a teenager, on a child, on a student, you should be able to call yourself to other and apologize.
Exactly, apologize. Which is
Yeah.
very hard for some
Which is
person
hard,
to, yeah,
but which is also empowering.
very empowering.
Because if you apologize, you're showing the person, first of all, this is what to do when you offend people, you apologize. So you're teaching by example. And you are strengthening that relationship as well, because now they can trust you. They can even come back to you later. And speaking about that, how can teachers build trust, especially with students that are a bit reserved and introverted? How can teachers help such students to develop that trust, build that trust, so that you can teach beyond the classroom? I have a mantra which says, behind the potential success of every teenager is a caring adult. So there has to be that adult, right? So how can teachers position themselves to earn that trust?
Okay, any trust for a student who is reserved from as a teacher. We all know that trust is a process. Building trust is a process. Yeah, it's building trust doesn't just take a day. It's actually a process. Even for a normal relationship,
Yeah.
yeah, relationship with people and all that, it takes process for you to build that word trust. I think it's applicable also to students
Okay.
as well. For a teacher who has observed that about a student, I think first and foremost, you need to observe, right? You're observing your student. Every teacher must be observant of their student actions and all that. A child that is doing well in the classroom, all of a sudden, you start withdrawing yourself, you start being reserved and all that. You should be able to observe that something is happening
Yeah.
or something challenging is happening. So after taking note of that observation, observing such situation, you can as well call that particular student, start getting closer to that student. You show that you show concern, because when they see that you're showing concern towards their, let's say, academic, even a student that is not doing academically well, you begin to show concern towards the academic. Oh, John, did you copy your note today? John, did you do your assignment and all that? The student will be happy that, okay, there's a particular teacher that cares about me amidst what everybody say. On his or her own, he might actually do, before you even approach, he might come to tell you that, Ma, I did my assignment today. Oh. You know that feeling. Yeah. So you must show that concern consistently. And showing concern, there are still some, you will actually show that concern and they will still hold back. That's why I say it's a process. Some might just comply immediately. Some might hold back. And when they see that you're being intentional about it, because you must be intentional about it, it must be from a genuine place of love. Then when they see you're intentional about it and the students begin to loosen up around you, they begin to confide in you, even some things you may not even ask them also. They know that there's someone that really care about them. They know that there's somebody that is actually showing concern about them beyond maybe every other teacher is being harsh on them, treating them in a kind of way. Or what about students that at home face bully from their parents, coming to school also facing the same bully from teachers? You have lose that child. But if at least there's a particular teacher that shows that child concern and care, you become like you've automatically gained the trust of that student.
And you can be that teacher.
Yes.
You can be that
Yes.
one teacher that they can run to as a
Exactly.
safe space,
True.
as a safe corner, as a safe zone. And I think that should actually be a goal of every teacher.
Every teacher, yes.
Because if, assuming all of us have that goals and we are all teaching in different schools, we are going to be the safe zones, like I said, and they will open up. And I like what you said. You said trust, consistency, and intentionality.
Yeah.
Very important. So you have these three. Your students are going to be talking to you until your ears are full, because you actually want them to open up. But sometimes you're like, they don't want to talk. Leave them now.
And most times, if there are no teachers to open up to, they prefer talking to their friends.
True.
Which may not be giving them the right advice, the right thing, or the right action to take. Yeah.
True. Okay, so now what's the balance between enforcing rules and showing empathy to struggling students? You mentioned something while talking that you need to sometimes show empathy. So what's the thin line? How do you enforce these rules? For instance, you have to submit the assignment tomorrow. If you don't, over. How do you balance that with struggling students that are probably naturally slow or take more time to get things done?
Okay. I think these two things are, it's kind of like only two different things, but both get towards achieving a particular goal, that is making the student a better person. Yeah, because you're enforcing rule to set a standard, to set a structure maybe in the classroom to enable discipline. in the classroom. At the same time, you're being empathetic in the sense like you're showing compassion to that student in your actions. So most time you don't allow your actions to get hold of you. Like you just want to display, like as you said, you set these rules. Everybody must stand by it. What about if it's actually affecting that student in a way? So it should be balanced for you to have the right atmosphere or the conducive atmosphere for learning. It should be balanced as well. Look, I've seen in a situation a particular time, I think they were supposed to have this exam, let's say today, and there was a public holiday. Yeah, and on returning, everybody, you know, that preparation, since this day was supposed to be the examination, it was moved to the next day. So they felt the paper they were supposed to write today is what they'll write tomorrow. And now coming down to school, the exam officer is saying, no, we are writing the next paper that's tomorrow, that the paper that's meant for that day. There was a controversy in the school and everything. The students are like, no, we prepare for this paper. You can't do this. Now imagine they are actually enforcing that rule. Like it's set. There's nothing else we can do about it. It's going to affect the students. Yeah, but kind of adjustments have to be done because doing that, you're listening to their voices as well. They want to be heard also. They want to feel like they are important. Even if their opinion doesn't really count, make them feel like we've heard you, but there's nothing we can do because some of these rules, there are some of the rules that could be that is not, you aren't the one that enforces that rules. Maybe it's from the school authorities as well. They make them feel like, okay, these rules have been set. There's nothing we can do about it. But it's not like we are looking down on your suggestion or what you have to say, on your feelings as well.
So even putting words for them in this
Is
situation.
exactly. So you can balance that situation, make them feel like, okay, they want to be listened, as I said, they want to be held. So make them feel like their opinion as well counts. Their opinion as well is important. So balance
I
that
love that.
situation.
So you have to balance every situation. You have to look at the good and the bad side, the up and the down. Amazing. So I'm going to ask a pretty personal question to you, Meekness. You are not just a teacher, you're also a teen mentor. And I want to believe that that makes you different from a random teacher who just works to get paid, right? So you have passion spiced up, spicing up your career as a teacher. So have you ever had like a eureka moment where your love, your passion for teenager played out maybe in a classroom setting on one-on-one basis with your
Very
students?
well.
Share, because we want to participate in that moment.
very, very well. Like I think, okay, there was a particular class I had to handle, I think a history class or so. And then as we said, you know, there are these students that could be slow in their writing, nonchalant, everything, disorganized, books not organized, you know, those particular kind of students. So exactly. So I think I need to have a one-on-one conversation with him. Just like whenever I come to the class, I'm focusing on where's your notes, where is this, where is that. So just trying to show that question as a teens coach, because you need to make them your friends. It's natural. You need to make them your friends so that they can be able to relate with you, and you need to be speaking their language too at times so that they can relate with you. So I think early this time he just came. My notes are complete too. Like on his own, he feels like I need to. Do you understand? I need to be updating these things, like to make this person happy. Like this teacher is actually your friend already. So it plays out in. So is it even among the female students? And when they see that you're speaking their language, you're being free with them. Even maybe in the way you teach, you're not just all about you, like just teaching and listening.
Doing your job.
That's all. No, you can make it more interactive. They love it when it's more interactive. Yes, they want to share their opinion. You like there should be some little breaks, spice it up. You laugh in the classroom, all the stuff like that. But in all, you must set boundaries. So very important. Else they might just lose it and start misbehaving. So.
This has been a very beautiful, very, very beautiful conversation with you. So I'm going to ask now: have you ever had, or do you have like a set of things you normally do with teenagers or with your students that sets you apart as a teens mentor? So because you understand them more, are there things that you've decided to do or you normally do different from maybe what other teachers do?
Okay, like one of the things I've tried to apply is maybe once in a class, once in a week in a class, we just have a heart-to-heart conversation. Okay. Maybe among the girls, sometimes general, I think the last time I was actually talking to them on purpose and all that, and I could see because some of these things, some of them just all about academic. There are things outside academics they don't know. Maybe parents that even down to their churches and all that, maybe they don't have that exposure of going to church. They are even down in church. There are words they don't hear. But as a teens coach, you could be able to relate those things to them. And by so doing, they want to ask questions. So those heart to heart talk once in a while, most times they just come. Sometimes I do some kind of personal coaching for some persons. Like for me, like I think there's a particular student I write. So she saw some of my books and she was interested. Wow, this, and it's looking like is a personal coach something now that is going on. You understand? So that's what actually set it apart.
Very, very fantastic. And I'm okay. You want to
Yeah, and also being able to listen to them, their complaints. Sometimes just act interested towards their conversation. Be interested, yes. Be interested in their conversation. Like they might really not call you in, but you just hear them discussing something that you feel you could contribute to it. You could just chip in something. And by so doing, next time they might be discussing something and they will come back to you, Mrs. Do you have anything to say about this? Like even when you're not part of the conversation. Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. So finally, before I let you go, what word of advice do you have for teachers who are currently feeling overwhelmed, who are feeling like this teaching thing, I beg, let me just teach. It's not 5 days a week and let me just leave, because they feel overwhelmed, they feel burnout, they feel this, I'm not even connected with these students and they're just there for the pay. What word of advice do you have for them?
Okay, word of advice I'll say to the teachers out there, they shouldn't give up easily. Yeah, because if actually they are doing the teaching out of passion, out of love, they should know that they are trying to raise up leaders of tomorrow. Yeah, so they shouldn't give up. They shouldn't give up because it's coming from a place of passion, from a place of love. They shouldn't give up easily. They should sometimes too they should also relate with other teachers, because teamwork is very important. Just as we said, you can't do it alone. A particular student, you can't just think only you can actually train that particular student. Actually, they will say one person cannot train a child now. Normally, I think it's applicable. Yes, it's applicable to this case. So you can't do it alone. So when you get overwhelmed, you get burnt out, you can also relate such issues as well to other teachers, yeah, to add their contributions and all that. So don't give up. Just stay encouraged and hope that one day those students will come out to be something great. Yeah.
Amazing, fantastic. So it's been a couple of minutes of discussion with Meekness, who is not just a teacher, but also a teen mentor and coach. And we've been talking about how teachers can handle difficult teenagers and build real connections. So if you're looking to build real connections as a teacher with your students, inside the classroom and outside the classroom, then you'd really want to pay attention to all the conversations we've had here. I'm going to let you go now, but before I do that, can we get your social media handles so that we can know how to connect with you?
All right. Facebook, Meekness Onwuka. Instagram, Meekness Onwuka. Yeah. Meekness Onwuka, that's the name.
Do you have products, services that you provide?
I have literal books for teenagers. Like this, just as a result of passion for, yeah, secondary, primary and secondary school. Why this actually is for girls' child. Yeah, just focusing. Yeah, focusing on girl child, discovering her purpose, her potentials, and
Beautiful. So these are the books that Meekness have written to help young people, and they're all born out of passion. I love that. You guys, you want to stalk her page, you want to follow her page, you want to place order, reach out to her on her social media handles if you want to get a copy of this book. Thank you so much, Meekness, for making it to P and T show today, and I hope that you come again if we invite you. Shout out to Coach Merit Erondu, who nominated Meekness to be on P and T show today. Thank you so much. If you would like us to invite someone who you know can contribute to these conversations, do well to add their name, mention their name in the comment section, and we will do well to reach out to them. Remember that P&T Show is that show where we celebrate parenting and inspire teenagers. We want you to keep watching, keep sharing, keep talking about this platform, because we are bringing real conversation with real people. And until we come your way again, bye.